The Forum for Democratic Change, FDC, was born on December 16, 2004. We will celebrate our 19th birthday December 16th this year. The FDC was birthed by a former agenda headed by the indomitable Dr. Kizza Besigye, Parliamentary Advocacy Forum, at that time headed by the Honorable Augustine Ruzingana, and the National Democratic Forum of Mzee Chapa Karwanga. I don't know what he will be in another election. The struggle stopped him from installing himself as president in 2003, 2004, played a key role in the formation of the FDC. Remember, at its registration on December 16, 2004, Museveni had just lifted a ban on multi-party democracy, just as a cover for him to push for the removal of presidential term limits from our constitution. He also wanted the parties to return so he can expel those who don't agree with him from his party. The Forum for Democratic Change emerged out of these events as a rescue platform. The 1995 Constitution that introduced a 5-year term for president would not have allowed Museveni to contest the 2006 elections. He pretended that he was pushing for the lifting of ban on political parties. Imagine a ban he had himself imposed. And as usual, there are people who were happy. This background is very important because half of Uganda's population has been born after these events. They may not even remember that they happened. The 2002 population and housing census put the total population of Uganda at 24.4 million. We are now about 45 million people. This means half of the population has been born after the formation and registration of the FDC. Before I take leave of this background, I invite every FDC leader, those who are here and those who are not here, to ponder this demographic configuration and its effect on the party. While it would seem easy to market the FDC to the population of 2004 at its formation because of the prevailing circumstances in the country at that time, marketing it in this new technological era where the phones that you carry, has become the main source of information, requires a lot of ingenuity. There is therefore a real danger of this great party stagnating and eventually becoming irrelevant in people's mind if we do not change course. Mind you, there are other political parties in the market for people to choose from. We are not the only political party that seeks to liberate and lead this country. We have a duty, therefore, to reload ourselves, to appear attractive, to half of the country's population that has been born since the registration of the FDC. We also have a duty to cause the return of every member who has left the FDC. Many of them are still where they are. We must also make everybody a leader and a member of the FDC comfortable that you and I are keeping the right company. We have a duty. Internal elections help political parties renew themselves. Just like you see snakes, those of you who have seen them, shed off all the skin and periodically embrace a new one. That's how they look military all the time. That's what internal elections must help the party to achieve. To begin military again, look good. Unfortunately, our internal elections, a huge opportunity to position ourselves once again, are being selfishly bungled. The party president, Engineer Patrick Amria, told us in one of the recent National Executive Committee meetings that we are headed for a split. You can ask the members who are here. It is this observation that made us think twice about rushing these elections. And we say a solution must be found before we plunge into these elections, where you are forewarned not by anyone else but the party president.
My fellow citizens, there should never be a blackmail in any political organization. As a registered political party, the Constitution commands us to hold these elections and have the National Executive Committee by the 23rd of November 2023. So really, all these other whispers are not for the first time. They have always happened, and the FDC has remained firm and continued in its own objective. So really, individual members can have their individual thinking, and there is no individual member who can interfere with the Electoral Commission work. Where do they derive that power? Not even the Secretary General can do it, not even the chairman. That's why the Electoral Commission is doing its work. And we are following this roadmap. The roadmap was approved by the National Executive Committee of the party. That was its work. We are now adjusting the dates so that can suit in the program of having an election.
It is for the first time that I'm going to see a spokesperson of a party convening a meeting on behalf of the party, if it is anyway, and yet it is the core mandate of the Secretary General, who is the administrator of the party. If by any chance Honorable Semuju has convened that meeting in Zambia on behalf of the party, that is wrong. And those are not values that FDC stands for. And I think it will be a role conflict on his part. And I would advise him, if he has any motives, to restrain. First of all, the party has clearly stipulated organs, and the party respects those organs. But two, it is unfortunate that a person who is supposed to be speaking for the party will be the one imputing bad motive upon the leaders, and the institution of the party is supposed to be speaking on behalf. For me, if I were him, I would just resign and do my other personal business, because the actions do not give him the competency to continue speaking for the party. It's an insult to us members of FDC, even though our party card is cheap, 1,000 shillings. We voluntarily pay that 1,000 shillings to become members of the party. And for somebody to equate us to products where one person is going to bundle on a truck and hand over to the regime is an insult to all of us. I think he needs to apologize to members of the FDC. We are millions in number. And I don't think even if he wanted to be the Secretary General of this party, he would wish to superintend over a party that has people who cannot reason. We make our own decisions. He never invited us to this party. We invited ourselves, and we paid our own membership card individually. Nobody paid for us. And therefore, for you to think that one person can just bundle us and hand us over is a big, big, big insult. It should never happen, especially from a person of the caliber of the Honorable Semuju, whom I served with in the 10th Parliament. But also it is unethical to go on the media and start discussing resolutions of NEC, resolutions that were taken in a boardroom, where not all of us as members of the party go to attend. It is specific people, NEC members. It is not a rally. A NEC meeting, once it makes resolutions, there is a structure and a system and a process through which those resolutions must be communicated to the public. And I do not think that that role was delegated to the Honorable Semuju. Thank you for proposing that the elections should not take place, but do you have any justification anyway? And in the first place, our constitution as FDC stipulates clearly that we should hold routine elections every 5 years to change leadership of the party. We were only unlucky that that constitutional mandate was affected by COVID, which gave rise to a resolution of NEC that extended the term of office as a measure, an interim measure, for the party to continue operating. It is common knowledge that we need to have leadership because it is 3 years overdue. The Honorable Semuju knows that. So, what is the crime in us holding leadership of the party, renewing actually the leadership of the party? How do you reduce an entire process of a party, an institution, the largest opposition party in the country, to mere interests of an individual as you impute anyway? So I think, members of the FDC, one, we should learn to respect one another, respect our party, and respect our leaders. If you have any dissenting views, the system of FDC as a value-based party is very clear. We have a disciplinary organ that can listen and address your grievances. I think the media outbursts are not going to help us as a party to attain growth. So Honorable Semuju, senior as you are, please, I would request that you should stop being diversionary and play your role of speaking for the party. And you are supposed to speak good for the party at all costs. I have never seen a spokesperson of an institution talking ill against that institution he speaks for. That in itself is a vote of no confidence.
I'm proud to report to you that the Party Electoral Commission has handled party presidential flag bearers competently. There was no complaint. Has handled primaries for parliament, primaries for local government elections. Electoral processes did take place here at the party headquarters for the election of Speaker, 11th Parliament Speaker, twice for the Speaker and Deputy Speaker, even for the East African Legislative Assembly. As if not enough, the same Party Electoral Commission handled Kampala Capital City Authority elections. My fellow Ugandans, what's the war about? What is it that has happened? The electoral processes will be implemented Friday 21st and 23rd, and up to the National Delegates Conference. That will be the job well done. So really there shouldn't be any panic. There shouldn't be anything to worry about. We are still members of the same party. I thank you very much.